Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. Adi here. So today we are going to discuss about how NodeJS works. So everyone must have heard about NodeJS. So today's video let's understand how it works, what is asynchronous. So in the previous video I'll put in the description and the I button, you can check it out, the different characteristics of NodeJS. So how it is better or its comparison with Java and other technologies. So I already mentioned that NodeJS is highly scalable and is a single thread application. So let's actually understand how it works, how NodeJS is so fast. So let's start the video. Okay, so let's take a real life example and let's try to understand. So let's say you went to a restaurant. So the chef is there in the kitchen, and let's say we have two tables, table 1 and table 2. So you are at table 1. So what happens? There is a waiter come to you and you order the food. Okay. So once you order the food, then what will happen? The waiter will inform the chef or the kitchen that okay, these food it should be prepared. Okay, but what happens in this case? The waiter doesn't wait for the food get prepared for you and get it served. So what will happen? It will continue serving other table. Let's say in this case table 2. So once your food is prepared, then what will happen? The waiter will get the food and serve to you. So this is what is actually asynchronous process is. So non-blocking. So you can see here the chef doesn't wait for your food to get prepared and then serve to you. It can simultaneously serve to other tables also. So this is the concept of asynchronous. So this is how NodeJS works. It's work asynchronously. So let's take your waiter as a single thread. Okay. So it is designed to serve multiple requests. So single thread in NodeJS is designed to serve multiple requests. So it works as asynchronous. So it doesn't wait for other one request to complete, then it trigger the next request. So this is how NodeJS works. So in contrast to that, there is blocking or synchronous approach. So let's understand what is that. Okay, so let's go back to our kitchen example. So let's say you go to another restaurant. Okay, so the kitchen is there and let's say there is two tables. So you ordered your food to the waiter. So here what happens? Once the waiter reach out to the kitchen and the chef that okay, this food need to be prepared. Now the waiter doesn't do anything. So like previously in asynchronous process, the waiter used to serve other tables while your food being prepared, but here the waiter is sitting idle and is waiting for your food to prepare. So once your food get prepared, then it will serve to you, and once it is served to your table, and then it will move to let's say another table, table 2. So this is what synchronous or blocking architecture is. So it waits. So once the first request is complete, then it moves to second request. Okay, so in the server, so let's say there is a request. So for a single request there is a thread which will use to serve it. Okay, so let's say this request is related to an database operation. So there may be sometime there may be some delay, or it may take some time to get the query and the result. So in this case the thread will be waiting. So what happens if there is another request? Okay, so what will happen? Then the server will create another thread. So like this, if multiple requests will come, then it will keep creating new thread for each request. So what will happen? Let's say this you have a server, right? So if the thread keeps increasing, so there will be a point of time what will happen? There will be no thread available. So like all thread will be busy in your server. because let's say for each request there is single thread and it's keep waiting for the request to complete. So in that case what will happen, let's say there is another request come to the server, but in this case it will have to wait. So that is the issue. So in this case this will be the issue in case of Synchronous, but fortunately Node.js is asynchronous by default. So Synchronous we can see in .NET, ASP.NET, basically it works in Synchronous. We can do some coding and all those things to tweak it, but yeah, that will be an hard work. So fortunately Node.js is asynchronous. So let's understand how Node.js handle the requests. Okay, so in case of Node there is a single thread which used to serve multiple requests. Let's say request 1, request 2, it used to serve multiple requests. So what happens, so let's say there is a request 1, so it execute the request 1, then it does, let's say it's involved database, so it's execute the request 1, then it doesn't wait for the result to come. So unlike Synchronous, it's work on the request 2. So in the background, once the database operation is done and the result is prepared, then what happens, it send a message to event queue. So you know Node.js is event driven, so event queue it will send a message, and the thread it's continuously checking the event queue in the background. Okay, so it's continuously checking. So once it's informed that there is some data and the event queue, so once the data is ready, so it what will happen, the single thread then it will serve to the request. Let's say in case this one, this is request 1. So this is how your single thread Node.js application works. So basically we can use say Node.js basically in case of highly your network or your disk uses application, because we don't need to heavily depend on the hardware in this case. So it should be used mostly for your IO intensive application which required your disk and network uses heavily, and we should not use this for application which required CPU uses. So let's understand those applications. Let's say you have an application where you need video encoding or manipulation, image manipulation. In that case it heavily depends on your CPU uses, because you need to do some calculation, then depending on that it will process. So in that case it barely use any network or your disk, it mostly use your CPU. So in that case let's say there is a request 1, so it will wait for request 1 calculation to be done, then move to the request 2. So it is not advisable to use Node.js in those type of application. So it is basically a single threaded and real-time application or disk or your network uses, heavily network uses application. So this is how your Node.js works. So I have already made a video on Node.js, how to install that one, how to write your code. So I'll just put in the description, you can check in the I button, so you can check it out how to install and write your code. So if you find this video helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video. Thank you everyone.